Thank you and good morning, everybody. All of us use enterprise applications to run our organizations, applications like SAP, like Salesforce, like Oracle. And their excellencies before me actually explain how AI agents are going to change everything. But what does this mean? We start hearing voices that maybe those applications will be obsolete in the future based on the way we work. Is this true? In the next 15 minutes, I'm going to try to give a simple explanation of what AI agents actually are, and then try to test this hypothesis. So let's start by one of the industry leaders, the CEO of Microsoft, Satya Nadella. In his interview in December, he basically mentions that everything is going to go away or change in favor of agents. We all heard that AI is the new UI, new user interface. We also heard in the last year that robotic process automation will be replaced by AI agents. What does this bring to the enterprise application world? For sure, it's going to be a disruption. But let's start looking at that. To kick things off, we asked AI to create actually a very simple illustration of how this would work. The audio is off. So we asked AI basically to create the documents and then shred them. If you can put the audio on for the next slide, thank you. And let's see what AI actually did. Well, technically it is correct, right? It integrated the printer agent with the shredder agent. What it didn't do is actually follow a thought process like a human would do to implement such a thing. But that's just a toy illustration, right? To actually bring that to the real world, we need to do a quick historical review to the ancient time of, in the AI terms, of 2022. For the first time, we saw in the Gartner hype cycle something called foundation models, nothing about Gen AI yet, and in fact with a maturity horizon of 5 to 10 years. And then suddenly, in less than a year, we see generative AI as a term, and at the top of the expectation cycle, and with a maturity in 3 to 5 years. So we are all excited, we are all playing with GPT, we try to implement it in some simple use cases in our organizations. But then let's look at what happened in 2024. It starts falling down in the expectation curve. Why is that? Some of our initial experience did not meet expectations. What happened? And then suddenly, 2025, we see the emergence of AI agents everywhere in the public domain. So what will happen? Will AI agents bring us back to the hype expectations, or will they actually finally take us to productivity? Let's look at how they evolve. What are exactly AI agents? I'm pretty sure all of you are very familiar with ChatGPT and a lot of other things. Many of you also might be also familiar in detail, but let's look at how they evolve. Why are they there and what are they bringing? So we started all our journey with conversational AI, with GPT, which is based simple prompting. All of you have done it. It's fast and simple. It's easy to use. It's low cost. Now the cost is almost insignificant, but it has some limitation. It has a knowledge wall. It relies on existing knowledge that it was trained on. It is prone to hallucinations. It can give you a very good authoritative answer that is actually wrong. And last but not least, it has a limited reasoning depth. Let's look at a quick example to understand this. So how many of you believe that actually it can do math? I will give it a simple example to basically calculate. I give it 2 columns, so I will ask it to give me the sum and the average of one of these columns, so it needs to understand which column it is and just do the simple calculation. So here I copy-paste. And actually, if you didn't believe it, you were wrong. It actually did a very good job. Yeah? Now let's try to make it a bit more complicated. Yeah? Instead of 19 rows, I will ask it to do the same, but instead of 7 rows, I will ask it to do the same in 19 rows. So I would accept that it will also be able to do it. But actually, if you see the answer, let's look at it and say it is wrong. So it has the sum wrong, therefore also the average is wrong. So it didn't actually do math before. It just tried to emulate it through text. This is exactly why we went to the next step of the evolution, which is the generative AI, the prompt engineering. So with the prompt engineering, we are able to create, to give some logic, some step-by-step reasoning and instructions and even examples to the generative AI so it can hopefully do a better job. So it has also some limitations, of course. It still relies on existing knowledge, on the knowledge wall. The cost is higher because we start leveraging, using more tokens. And of course, that starts to require more expertise, what we used to call prompt engineers. If you remember, we used to say 1 or 2 years ago that the hottest programming language is English. Yeah? And this is how it will look like, a kind of prompt that we would use to solve the math problem we saw before. So we start by giving it a role. Yeah? You are a helpful assistant, blah, blah, blah. Step-by-step planning and execution instructions that we dictate. And last but not least, give it examples, what we call a few-shot prompting. Give it examples that it can use to do the calculation. And with that, if I go back to my example, and then I use advanced prompting, it will be able to do it correctly. But then, I will make it even more complicated. Instead of 19 rows, I will ask it to do the same with 119 rows. So to finally understand if it learned how to do math or it was just more efficient in simulating it. And if you will see, I will speed it up for time constraint. It will get it even more wrong. It will also get wrong the number of rows. It will think it's 100 and the calculation. So actually, it never learned how to do math. It just followed my instructions, my text instructions. And this is exactly where the AI agents came in. So what if I could also give it a tool? I could give it a simple calculator or a Python code generator that will have input, will do the calculation always right as programming does, and be able to communicate and interpret the result with the user. This is exactly the benefit that AI agents bring, the ability to reason, plan, like we had before in the prompting, but now more natively, as well as leverage tools instead of trying to figure out everything on their own. But on the con side, it has a higher complexity, increased cost. The cost can increase exponentially, especially if you give that to thousands of users, and it takes a longer time to answer. So the AI agent is able to calculate this now with any number of rows. It doesn't really matter how much, because it simply runs the calculator behind it. And it's able to understand which tool to use for which service, make a plan, the plan is transparent, we can see this is the power of agents. But now this is still a toy example. Many of you have been asked to bring that to the real world, to your companies. In fact, if you have, you will probably recognize this picture. So we are asked by our CEO, let's do something impressive with generative AI, but we know the reality on the back, that we have some systems, maybe data quality is not where we want it, maybe governance is not there, literacy to understand what it is. We had also some security and privacy issues. And in fact, if we have data and processes that we're not 100% sure about, and we add generative AI on top of it, we will increase the rate of error. We will not decrease it. And this is exactly where we believe that enterprise applications will evolve into integrating those AI agents in the process instead of replacing the process. Let's see an example of different AI agents from SAP, SuccessFactors, which is our HR solutions, many of you might know it, and of course Microsoft Teams, how different agents collaborate with each other to solve a relatively straightforward problem, but is all governed by the application and processes behind. So I want to create my team offsite. So the first thing it needs to do is actually I need to find out from my system my team members that are in my team and go to MS Teams to create a group for our conversation to start planning our team offsite. So you see, based on my access security authorizations, I can see sensitive information and I transfer that into Teams to create a group. The next step is I want to check with my finance to check also what is my daily allowance. I need to start budgeting to check versus the budget. So I can ask questions that I can get from the system in combination with policy documents, and I can see the source provided. So a different agent has been triggered for this part, yeah? And then the next step, I want to start planning it. So I want to find 4 days in August, so I need to access their calendars, which is another agent that needs to be triggered on the Outlook side to find exactly when they are available in August and put a calendar entry. So you see, I'm just following the process, but I'm doing through conversation without having to change many different screens. And of course, I need to find the tickets for them, so I ask for ticket proposals. It knows that not all of them need to find a ticket because some of them are already based in San Francisco, so then it goes to the public internet to find this information for me, and I ask it to share this information with the users on a Teams group. And if I go on the team side, where I have SAP Copilot integration there, I can see all this information summarized, plus I can see the budget that was retrieved from my corporate system. So what you saw here is a seamless integration between different AI agents, but it's all governed by the process, by the same application security and privacy that you would follow if you were doing this manually. The AI assistant just gives you a tremendous flexibility and saves you a lot of time. And we have many, many such examples. This is from the customer that present this publicly in our events, that using a combination of enterprise systems and AI agents, they can automatically do the supplier balance reconciliation. Thousands of suppliers, they need to agree on what is the balance between their SAP systems and whatever system the supplier has. And the AI agent is able to mimic what a human analyst would do in order to find any potential difference and propose a solution. So to conclude, we're all enthusiastic about AI agents, but how many of you have actually hired someone in your company just by looking at their CV without checking their credentials or without interview? Yet many times we are eager to put AI agents to production without taking this into consideration. Second point, humans make mistakes. Mistakes are human, but on the same time, AI also makes mistakes. Are we willing to accept those mistakes as it's a fundamental part of AI, or just like in the case of humans, we will put guardrails and processes to make sure they don't happen? And my last point, let's say you hire 5, 6 workers for your warehouse. This is a very nice AI-generated video. As you see, everybody is busy. Nobody is idle. They are all doing something. But do they really produce business value? Yet, this is what we start seeing in the deployment of AI agents on enterprise systems without really thinking of the business value first. And then my key conclusions, my key takeaways out of this, yes, I think I answered my own hypothesis. Applications are not going away for AI agents, but AI agents would definitely change the way we interact with them. But we need first think about driving business value. What is the use case? What we need to do? And it's not all about technology. The second one, strength isn't in numbers. It's not about how many AI agents do I have, but what do they actually do? And do I really need them? We have many customers where after analyzing their requirements, we realize that they can be solved not with AI agent, but in a different way. So, and last but not least, agents need guardrails. Privacy, security, governance, all this is provided by data platforms and enterprise applications, and AI agents work on top of them, not instead of them.